What up, world? What up, world? Welcome to another installment of 35KY Sports. It is your guy, Murph.
It's your boy, Al.
Man, what's good with you, big homie? Hey, we in here. The real matter BBN. He's out handling some business this Sunday. What's going on with you, though, dog?
Man, not much. Coming off a great, which probably was the finale to the Lamar Jackson era yesterday in Papa John's Cardinal Stadium, man. So, you know, just we're gonna honor some history today, man. One of the greats, the GOAT. They don't like to hear that talk, but it means.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Do you think the great Lamar Jackson, is he the GOAT? Is he the greatest of all time, the greatest athlete ever to come through the city of Louisville?
Yeah, hands down. They can go ahead and throw that argument away right now. For real. They can throw that argument away because it's over with. I mean, Mike Bush was up there. He lost his senior year to the injury, so that kind of takes him out of the argument. And he was probably the only other. I mean, and Teddy was a great no matter what. But you talk about athletes, Devontae's in that conversation, but Lamar Jackson hands down.
What about Griff?
He ain't doing Heisman, you know.
Yeah. But you gotta put Griff in that conversation, though. You know.
I was always talking about football.
Just football. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought we was talking about overall.
But
do you put Lamar overall? To me, I think you got a great argument. I think you can put him over.
Yeah, I mean, he's to me he's the GOAT, man.
Yeah, he's the greatest of all time.
Football for one was the comparison I was going with, but when it comes to it, when you look at what he did yesterday to possibly his last game at Papa John's Cardinal Stadium and leading his Louisville Cardinals to another victory, we finished the home slate 7-4 with one more game remaining against Kentucky. Jackson finished with 381 total yards and 4 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 2 through the ground. It was a 47-minute rain delay yesterday. That was nuts. Empty. I mean, it was already a light crowd in there yesterday, but it emptied the stadium out. I got to shout out my man Frank the Tank and Brandon, man. They was out there yesterday, soldiers from the game, man, and they went and cheered the Cards on, man. They said he had to go see Lamar's Swan Song if it was his last game.
Most definitely.
So I got to shout the homies out. But crowd was stupid light. Everybody knew it was going to be a storm that came through yesterday.
Right.
Even through the storm, I mean, Lamar Jackson didn't disappoint. Everyone that stayed got a real treat yesterday.
He definitely showed we should appreciate this time.
Yeah.
Us as Card fans, we should appreciate this time because you're never going to see anything like this again.
Yeah.
Ever again.
It was also senior day yesterday, with it being the last home game. So Louisville had a few seniors that actually showed out and had some very, very special performances for senior day. Malik Williams at running back had 9 carries for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Great game.
Had 2 long touchdown runs, man. That's the best I've ever seen him run. And I mean, he's out there with a armored elbow brace on. He's out there with this big RoboCop brace on his elbow, man. So he hats off to that young man for his performance coming back from them injuries yesterday. And to have that type of senior day, he deserved that. And, we got to give the hometown boys some love. Reggie had a special senior day.
Reggie.
Yeah, they had the chant going for him in the stadium. I mean, the few fans that was there, they hit him with the Reggie chant, which was real dope and special for him. He's had a great Louisville career through all the position changes and, the way his career started, losing his father. He's a special young man to always put the team first. So
looking back on his career, a few years from now, what are you gonna think of Reggie and what he means to the program?
I'm gonna say he's, it was overshadowed because of Lamar Jackson, but he's been the most versatile player we've had, and selfless player.
That's the word that I would think.
Yeah, he could have bitched and cried about not getting to play quarterback. But he did it for the team. And, so when you look back, and they've done a few cut-ups throughout the year and showed the highlights where they show, like, Reggie throwing for touchdowns, Reggie running for touchdowns, Reggie catching touchdowns. Punts, kickoffs. He literally has done it all.
Right.
So, yesterday he had 5 carries, 43 yards for 1 touchdown, and then he called a 34-yard touchdown from Lamar Jackson. So to get 1 on the ground and 1 through the air yesterday was real nice for Reggie to leave out on.
Go out with a bang.
Yeah, man. So shouts out to Reggie, man. And then we had a stout performance from the defense yesterday.
Man, defense played great.
I mean, first team D gave up 3 points. Basically, they scored a mop-up touchdown to give them a total of 10 yesterday, Syracuse. We had 4 interceptions. Get the turnover chain out for the Cardinals. Yeah. You feel me? I mean, Kane Pass had an interception yesterday. Tremaine Washington had an interception. Senior Tremaine Washington, so that was nice for him to get one on the way out. As well as Chucky Williams, and probably the last game we'll see Jair Alexander as a Cardinal. He had an interception yesterday. I mean, I hope those guys come back. They do still have some eligibility. Tremaine, excuse me, not Tremaine, but Jair and Lamar Jackson, another one. But you know, just being real, that was probably the last time we'll see those guys. So you know, we had 4 interceptions yesterday. Chucky, Jair, Tremaine, Kane Pass all had 1. And you know, shout out the freshmen now. Even though it's senior day, Dorian Etheridge led the defense with 11 tackles yesterday, man. He's actually has the lead for all tacklers on the team. So big future for Dorian Etheridge to play that middle this year, man. He had a real good game. So I mean, way to end it. You know, the Cards. In total, the season hasn't been what we really wanted.
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, what do you think of the resilience they've kind of shown? You know, they took some bad losses. You got to think about the NC State, the Boston College. You know, they could have came into this game over the weekend and lost, and it changes the narrative for the rest of the season. What do you think about their resilience as far as, you know, Bobby and the staff as well?
It's a commendable job for Petrino, even through, you know, all the noise and, you know, the disappointment. I know that it's disappointment for the fan base and that team in that locker room. They have big expectations. So, you know, we're not the only ones disappointed. You know, people who cover them and fans. So, 7-4 right now, going into Kentucky game with a chance to get 8 wins on the season. Coming from the almost at disaster point, ready to, you know, press the panic button at, you know, after the Boston College loss. You know, to pick it up and pick the pieces together and pull together a couple wins to, you know, pull that record up. So if they can get it 8-4 and then get a favorable bowl matchup and get 9 wins on this season and salvage 9 wins out of this season, if they can finish up strong and win 4 straight, you know, it just shows a program that's prideful. You know, that it didn't go the way they wanted, but they kept playing. A lot of young players got to develop and get reps that we need. To build depth and get ready to play next year, because lost a lot of seniors yesterday. And you know they're recruiting strong, so it gives us a lot of hope for the future if you're a Louisville fan, and you know how far the uphill we have to go. But just to see the team fight and stay in there this season and not throw the flag in.
Well, I want to go back to talking about the GOAT, Lamar Jackson. Just as far as his time of entering into Louisville's program to, you know, potentially his last game being against Kentucky and going to a bowl game as well. What do you think about his career at U of L?
Special career. It didn't result in the wins that we would all like to have seen from him, and the chance to really get on that big stage and do something really special and lead Louisville to a championship. You know, it didn't happen, but his individual greatness is nothing like we've ever seen.
Ever.
The way it's a true dual threat. I mean, when you look at these past 2 years he's gave us, his junior and sophomore campaigns, back-to-back 3,000 through the air,
Come on,
stack
man.
on the ground.
You'll never see those kind of numbers.
Never done before in history. Setting Louisville school records, total offense yesterday, set the U of L offensive total record, 12,141 on his career.
When do they put the statue up? When do they put the statue up? In the next 5 years, they have to put up a statue of Lamar. I mean, if they got one to unite us, they have to put one up of Lamar. I just don't see that not happening.
I mean, he's just so many records, so much stuff he's up there with. When you look at it, he leads Power Fives, tied for rushing touchdowns with 17 on the season. I mean, look at the numbers. You know, back-to-back seasons in comparison to the Heisman campaign last year. He's not off in any category. I mean, a few fewer you know, passing touchdowns this season, and same interceptions, more passing yards, a few less rushing yards. I mean, he's really, the production has been dual, so it's been beautiful.
So, you know, just thinking about this next game with Kentucky, Kentucky's shown some fight this year. Definitely going bowling. Have had a pretty good year in the SEC thus far. What are your expectations of the game Saturday? And is Louisville going to continue the play that they did against Syracuse?
If Louisville brings the defense they've brought out the last 2 weeks against Virginia and Syracuse yesterday, they could turn that scoreboard upside down against Kentucky. And that's just honest. If the defense is playing at this level, because that's been what's the last 2 games, they're finally healthy. You got Jair Alexander back, and he sets the table. He's at an interception and big pass breakups the last 2 weeks. Stacey Thomas is back. He missed 3 games. Jair missed 6. When you look at the loss, we didn't have the depth to withstand those losses to begin with. So when you take those away, some of the other guys has been in and out of the lineup. So if the defense comes out and plays like it has played the last 2 weeks, it's gonna be a long day in Commonwealth. And that's just straight up. But I mean, you never know. It's a rivalry game, so I do expect it to be competitive, very competitive. But in Lamar Jackson, we trust.
Man,
Lamar's
his last game against Kentucky, up there too.
I saw in the post game they were asking Lamar Jackson, did he plan on playing in the bowl game? Because they were, basically the comment was based off of guys Leonard Fournette and McCaffrey last year not playing in their bowl games. They're insignificant games for their programs, but they said Lamar Jackson answered the question like, "What you mean? Not play?" He didn't understand the question.
Lamar Jackson.
I'm a football player. I'm gonna go play. What you talking about? This is fun. And that's what he really truly looks like they doing out there. Like the squad is still even the disappointment in the total season. You can tell they're having fun watching each other develop and get off and have numbers. I mean, all type of guys are setting records and stuff. Des Fitzpatrick yesterday set the receiving touchdown record for freshmen. I mean, with 8 for the season. Jawan Pass got out there and mop up duty and was 3 for 4 with a 46-yard touchdown pass that he lobbed in that was a beauty to Dez. And that's a connection for the future, Dez and Pass right there. And Lamar was the first one on the field to congratulate Pass after that. I mean, it was so when you see those type of things, it's a lot of promise going on.
I know a lot of U of L fans are already thinking about next year, thinking about Alabama. I know that's so far away, but what are you thinking about? What do you see next year? You got Pass, you got all of these freshmen that are playing pretty well right now, and this year the one thing about Bobby Petrino and his staff and all of the players is they got this experience to go through like some adversity this year, so that's going to help them when they're sophomores, juniors, and seniors, I think. So what do you see from next year, especially with Pass?
Assuming that Lamar Jackson leaves, we're assuming he leaves and goes in the first round. I also want to talk about that narrative that they painting up of all these other quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson shouldn't be the number 1 option for quarterback draft.
That's crazy. I mean, I saw something where he was like the 6th or something like that. That's disrespectful.
I mean, if you got the number 1 pick and you need a quarterback,
you need to get it.
Is there any thinking to do with that?
Yeah, not at all.
So when you look at a team like, I don't know, I think either 49ers or the Giants, somebody like that may have the first pick.
Ooh, if you go to New York, that'll be.
I think the Jets might be looking for a quarterback too.
Lamar takes over New York.
So anywhere but Cleveland.
Yeah, anywhere but Cleveland.
And if he do go to Cleveland, I'm copping the Browns because he'll be the one to do it.
Yeah.
And that's just how I believe in it.
Season tickets.
But going back and circling around off his NFL draft stock, we'll have plenty of time to talk about that.
Most definitely.
They're gonna chew that apart from here till the draft in April.
They're gonna Booger McFarland.
Oh my God, they're gonna do so much hating on him and tearing him up. But at the end of the day, when you look at the counterparts and you look at somebody like Baker Mayfield, the way he's acting over at Oklahoma like a privileged little spoiled prick. I mean, just the whole his whole from the off season to the rest. And kids will be kids out here. They don't like playing it up. But
if he was,
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. But if it was Lamar Jackson that had all this going on last year, they would have dogged him.
Yeah, they would have ran him through the mud.
He wouldn't have got that Heisman. Even on they talk about he was one of the most, as far as team record wise. Right. Imagine if he had off the field and kind of character issues you seeing with Mayfield. Mayfield's showing he's
May,
reckless.
and Mayfield's probably still going to win it this year.
Yeah, he's going to win it.
So
unless he, I don't know if the voting goes in before the Big 12 championship, but unless he does something real stupid between now and the Big 12 championship, which he could, or does something stupid in that game. But I mean, he's had a great year. I mean, the big win at Ohio State, which was marred by putting the flag in the middle of the field afterwards, and then yesterday the blowout with the Kansas players.
And I think that they're not really going into the full story of that situation. Really, I think the media, like, something had to happen for them not to shake that man's hand.
That's true too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it was just, their disrespect on him just solely. He did something to provoke that situation.
Yeah, the whole thing. And I mean, but then you the Heisman front runner, and to be on the sidelines doing what you were doing, and the camera's gonna be right on you. This is the second to last game of the year, and you just come on, man.
Privilege.
Just
that's white privilege at its finest.
Yeah, they were killing the team. They were up 48-3. Scoreboard says it. That's all you should be yelling. The scoreboard. That's what they should be saying. The scoreboard. That's it. Yeah, now, if you get in trouble for that, yelling scoreboard, that's one thing. All right, cool. But the whole gesture of grabbing his nuts and walking down and cussing, and they having to blur it out all on ESPN, that makes you just look bad. Yeah. You can see the unedited version everywhere out there.
But they won't. They won't focus on that.
Nah. And that's why I take my hat off to Lamar Jackson, because he's never acted that way. He's never taken any attention away from what he does on the field. Right. And if he did, that would be a huge knock on him. So that's why when I say that draft comes in April, shouldn't be no question, man. And that's why he should have a trip to New York. I don't expect him to win the Heisman, but he should be invited, and he should win some votes, and it should be real interesting. It shouldn't be no runaway race, I'll tell you that.
Not at all. It wasn't like that in college football this year where it was a runaway. So they have to invite that kid. Yeah. I mean, just think about it. You couldn't have thought of a better story with U of L's program, just as far as the kids that we got. I mean, you got to think Teddy and then Lamar, like two great guys that are going to be great people in this world, man. Like,
because when I look at it, and coming back full circle about where he's going to leave the program at, and the prospects for the future and on, especially looking at next season. He's been a huge band-aid for the program for the last few years, and covered up a lot of holes and allowed us to, still win games and be competitive, even though we had a lot of depth issues. So I think some of the depth will start to work itself out next year. It's a tough first game. I don't even want to think about Alabama. But we're gonna go compete. It's Louisville football. Yeah. I mean, Bobby's gonna coach them up. No matter what, and
trying to get there.
That's just such a daunting game to start a season with probably a new quarterback, a first start. But Juwan Pass has showed a lot of promise. I think where a lot of people would have said last year they didn't think he was ready to be a quarterback. I think going into next year, people will be excited and ready to see him out there, because he looks, his head's in the game when he comes in, even in mop-up duty. He's locked in, and you can tell.
Right.
So, not to say that you never want to say there's not going to be a drop-off, but they got somebody waiting in the wings.
Yeah. I will say. Yeah, and I'm glad that they've given him. He's got a lot of reps this year. Mm-hmm. He's got some in-game experience. So we definitely gonna see what's going on with Pass, man. Like, he came in highly touted. I think that Lamar's just been so great. He's the GOAT. Like, he's kind of overshadowed on the expectations of Pass and what the fans are really looking for.
I think that's what's going to be the beauty for Pass, is because Pass is going to be able to come in. He's not Lamar Jackson, and I think he's smart enough to know. Anybody's smart enough to know they're not. When you see the incredible things he does on the football field, running the ball as well as passing. So I can't, take off and run, but what I can do? I can rely on my teammates. Right. We can establish more of a run to allow me to pick a defense apart and open the field up in ways that, even Lamar Jackson would have seen coverages open up, because we'll have a real running attack with play action involved. Everybody's keying on Lamar Jackson. Really not a lot of play action they could do. At all times, the game plan for the other team is go get him. You can tell a lot of teams, they weren't even worried about anybody else. Go get him was the game plan. So, Pass will have that advantage of being able to take advantage of his teammates, and you'll get the whole O-line back next year. I don't think they lose anybody. They've gotten freshmen plenty of reps. Cole Bentley, true freshman, started the last 2 weeks.
Right,
last 2 weeks. Makai Becton started at least. I mean, I think he sat out the last game or two, but he's got like 8 or 9 starts in this year and been great. You know, our best offensive lineman, to tell the truth. All the receivers will be back next year. You don't lose any of the receivers. He's gotten Kamari Everett here in at the end, the tight end, the freshman, some touches. And then when you got to see the other Williams, Dave Williams, get his carries here at the end of the year, coming back off the ACL.
Had a big game there at the end of the year.
Yeah, that Florida State, he was key. He was pivotal in that Florida State game. So seeing Dave Williams get those touches. So
our future is promising.
Yeah.
Like, as a fan, you should really be, you know, have a positive vibe on what's to come with the program.
And then I mean, you know, so you look at both sides of the ball. Dorian Etheridge, as a true freshman, started. I mean, I know he took his lumps this year, but he was a freshman. He was thrown into the fire. I think he can only get better from that. So he'll be back. And then when you look at the transfers coming in, and we get the hometown kid back, the Trinity boy from Ohio State comes back.
Yeah, that's right.
His name slips me right now, but he comes back. You get the Oklahoma transfer, and as well as a South Carolina transfer on defense next year. That they'll all be eligible to play. So you'll get to see them this spring. So the defense gets some. You know, we lose a lot on both sides of the ball, but the defense will get a bolster. You're putting an former Army All-American in at quarterback. So still high expectations for Louisville football here in the next few years, man.
So Louisville coming up this weekend faces UK at Commonwealth Stadium, Kroger Stadium. I'm sorry. Wait, is the game at 12 or 3:30?
It's a 12 o'clock kickoff.
12 o'clock kickoff. So early kickoff. Definitely check in with 35KY Sports on social media. We'll have all the coverage that you need about the Louisville versus Kentucky game. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about, man, the Celtics and this 15-game winning streak, man. Just killing the league right now. Had a big game against the Golden State Warriors over the weekend. So we're going to talk about that. We'll be right back with 35KY Sports. Welcome back to 35KY Sports. It's your guy Murph. We got Al in the building. Yo, so, man, let's talk about them Wildcats. They had another game over the weekend against Georgia. Shout out to all the Georgia fans. We got some Georgia fans in the Ville that rep the Bulldogs.
Man, total domination by the Bulldogs, man. They came and ran roughshod on the Wildcats yesterday. It was a rough day for them, man. They gave up 381 on the ground to the mighty Georgia Bulldogs. Who,
damn.
You know, they let you know what they're going to do to you. They're going to come in, they're going to run the ball. And Nick Chubb ran for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns yesterday on Wildcats, man. It was a 42-13 thumping. I'm sorry that now said we
Sorry about that, Matt.
You know, you might be wondering why we... Just a little something for you, Matt. But, you know, Georgia's 10-1. Finished the Wildcats with 7-4. So... Louisville and Kentucky will go into the game with identical records at 7-4 this season.
Who would have saw that?
Yeah, with I look at that and say if we're the same team, 7-4, the difference maker is going to be the quarterback. So Lamar Jackson needs to outperform Steven Johnson. As Matt likes to say, Steven got the best of him last year.
Yeah, he does talk about that a whole lot.
So if Steven, let's see if Steven's not a one-trick pony. See if he can do it 2 years in a row and get the best of Lamar Jackson.
We'll see. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I know who I'm riding with. I know who I'm riding with, for real.
So what do you think about Kentucky's overall season, man? 7-4. I mean, coming up against U of L. How can you kind of wrap up their season as far as right now coming to that last game of the season?
I mean, we both fell short of me and Matt's preseason expectations. We both was talking 10 wins. To see us both sitting here at 7-4 is so ironic, honestly. But they had a good season. If you're a Kentucky football fan, they moved forward. They got some young players playing. They got to see a little bit of the future. But they must replace Steven Johnson next year at quarterback. So is the young
Barker return?
Yeah, is Drew Barker ready? No one knows. So that's what they're faced with. I know they lost the big time recruit to Miami. the quarterback recruit, the All-American. So I don't really know where they go from here. So they've put their trust in Stoops. So Stoops will have to lead them through, man. So in Stoops they trust.
Stoops,
here you go.
Trust.
Because what you're gonna find out is Steven Johnson was a very good quarterback. They came out there and really gave you a chance to win. He didn't make mistakes. That's what I'll be left with. So a good season by the Wildcats, 7-4, and if they win the rivalry game and go 8-4 in the regular season and knock off your top rival 2 years in a row, a win against Tennessee as well. This would be a very good year for them.
Yeah, great year for them.
And if you're a Kentucky fan and you have wins in a season against Louisville and Tennessee, there shouldn't be nothing else you asking for.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't beat Florida in 30 years, so you can cross that off your list.
Right.
So, outside of that, to beat Tennessee, someone who held a similar win streak over you, and to see the dismay their program's in, we're having to fire Butch Jones finally this week. You beat Louisville. If you can beat Louisville 2 years in a row with the Heisman, I mean, that, you say Stoops owns Bobby now.
Yeah.
Straight up. That's what Bobby's risking this year, from the Louisville fans' side of things. If Stoops beats you 2 years in a row, he owns you.
Yeah.
Real talk, when you have Lamar, what's your excuse? There is none.
There is no excuse at all.
And so, so I give my hats to them. They can go out and somehow shut down Lamar Jackson or slow him up enough to, keep the Wildcats in the game and make it a defensive game. Keep the score around 28 to 30, 35 in that range.
Yeah, no more than 35.
Yeah, Kentucky will be in the game to win it. Take their shots and make some plays.
It's going to be an exciting game. I mean, both teams are coming in with big expectations, to finish their season strong. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the best Louisville, Kentucky football games in a while as far as with the rivalry. I mean, who would have said that they would have had identical records? I wouldn't have thought that, the beginning of the season at all. So definitely going to see what happens with UK. Make sure that you are following 35K Bar Sports on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also catch us on YouTube. So we got to switch it up and talk some basketball. Not college basketball, but the NBA. Man, the Boston Celtics right now are just tearing up the NBA. 15-game winning streak. Had a big game over the weekend against Golden State. Golden State came into Boston and took a L. Man, how do you think about what do you think about this team, man? Who would have thought that Boston would be playing so well right now?
And I feel like they're not getting enough attention either.
No, at all.
I feel like if this was the Warriors or this was the Cavs or one of these darling teams, that they on a 15-game winning streak to start the season after dropping your first two. It would be the
leading story on ESPN every night.
Losing a player like Gordon Hayward, your big offseason, second biggest offseason acquisition, free agents acquisition. So to see that and they're 15-2, and the way they're winning. I mean, last night they beat the lowly Hawks, but I mean Kyrie
was
30.
chopping them up, man.
I mean, he was doing what he did. I mean, Uncle Drew was definitely in the building last night. But just to see how everyone is coming along and they're getting contributions from everyone.
Jaylen Brown, God dang.
Yeah, he was the difference maker against the Warriors this week. I mean, he had 22 and 7.
Man, that kid's gonna be special.
To play like that, and he had the tragedy. He had lost his best friend.
That's
so
sad,
before the
Rest
game.
in peace.
Yeah. So and then he returned to Atlanta where his friend was, at. That was a big week from him, man. And just like I said, equal opportunity ball. Like Jaylen Brown, you're seeing what he can be. A defender, a wing player that is not scared, fierce. Tatum's starting to figure it out.
Yeah.
Terry's playing confident. He's making some long balls. And then when you look at Al Horford, the year he's given them, our guy that came on last week from the Celtics wire, man. He brought light to Al Horford, and I'm talking about what we saw from what we've been seeing from him. And really, Jared Weiss kind of touched on it about Al Horford. He's really giving them just solid play. Him and Kyrie are playing off each other so well, which is a treat to see. And they're in the pick and roll and everything that they're out there doing, man. So I mean, you look at what they're playing with still no Gordon Hayward. I mean, this is the team of the future in the East. When you look at them in Philadelphia.
Them in Philly are this. you it's back to the blue bloods of the NBA.
Yes.
Like those old school teams.
I don't know what I don't know what the Cavs are gonna do after this year.
It's over. It's over. They're gonna go back to the type of team that they were in the late '80s and '90s.
Yeah, they pretty much sabotaged their roster.
It starts at the top.
You know, with any movement, like they're kind of stuck.
Yeah, they're
so
I mean, you know, it was. That's kind of the roll of the dice that they took taking LeBron back. If LeBron came back, he was going to have more of a
control.
Yeah, more control, and he really don't give a damn about the organization.
Not long term. It's just about winning right now.
Yeah, it's winning right now. I brought y'all a championship. You know, that's pretty much all that it is to it.
I mean, they got to be happy. They only have, as you can see, championships don't come around too often.
Not at all.
So you know, they have the first one in their franchise history.
Right.
They can't complain with the results. Been to the finals 4 straight years, or 3 straight years. What can you complain about?
You can't complain about nothing.
You know, when you look at the revenue from all those extra playoff games and all the TV and publicity, I mean, the owner, Dan Gilbert, what can you complain about? Right. Sucks for the rest of the guys on the team. That's why Kyrie, you know, when it exited stage left on him.
Early, let me get out of this.
He saw what was coming.
Yeah, he's smart, man. Kyrie is a smart guy, man. Really, I like the way that he maneuvers and the way he handles his business. Wanted to ask you, you switch up topics a little bit. Ask you about D'Angelo Ball and the rest of the players at UCLA. They ended up getting back to America.
Thanks to President 45.
Yeah, 45 got them back. 45 wanted a public, you know, definitely a public thank you from the players. What do you think about that situation that, you know, Lavar kind of played it off like, you know, it's no big deal, you know what I'm saying? But you over in a communist nation, bro. Like, it could have been just super ugly for those kids.
Very stupid on their part. Hopefully they learn a lesson.
So how many I don't think a decision's been made of how many games that they're gonna be sitting out because UCLA is gonna be doing their own investigation. Which I'm like, what is that really investigate? Really?
Well, it's suspended indefinitely right now, which is, you know, unannounced amount of games until further notice. So I mean, I imagine they'll sit 5-6 games somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah. But I hope those guys learn their lesson because it could have been worse than a game suspension, man. If China really wanted to,
they would have chopped off a foot or something.
If it's been a different time and they really wanted to make an example, man, they could have kept them over and made this a real difficult back and forth. I think Trump enjoyed this, you know, going on. This is right up his alley. Yeah, it was right up his alley. You know how.
But you got to think, it could have went way worse because just the way that Donald Trump is and the way that he handles things, and he could have used this as, you know, and China could have barked back and would have been like, you know what, nope, they going to jail. They're going to be over here.
So, I mean, it was right up his alley. China probably owed him a favor anyway.
Yeah.
It was right up his sleeve. So, this was he was able to get this done pretty easily, honestly. If, you know, looking from the outside, looking in. But I just hope them guys learn their lesson, man, because they could have messed up their careers, everything, and now y'all look silly, y'all. And who goes into a Louis Vuitton store and steals?
In a Louis Vuitton store.
If you've ever been in any of those high-end stores, it's not like Target and Walmart aisles where you just walk up and down the aisles for days and you can hide behind stuff. I mean, they're pretty wide open and stuff is, you know, individually cased and you know, it's a pretty legit
and you
setup.
Gotta think, didn't you just get a Lambo, brother? Didn't you just get a Lambo?
And then like you said, who you are and your family, y'all not hurting for nothing. What you doing stealing?
Right. I don't like the way Lavar kind of handled that in the media either. Like,
he's embarrassed, man.
Yeah, he is. He should have just been like, hey, well, you know, you
gotta
call a spade a spade.
Yeah, he's sick. That's what it is. It's you know, right now Lavar gonna have to shut up for a little while.
He still was on tour, right? He still was doing his.
Yeah, they recording the show, the reality show that airs on what is on Facebook.
It's a pretty good show too.
I haven't got to see any of it.
It's a pretty good show.
But that's what he was doing. But I mean, you know, Leangelo's catching a lot of flack. He's not performing well with in the league right now. He's got just a horrible shooting percentage right now from 3-point. Yeah. I mean, I think he's shooting like 11%.
They talking about. I mean, Magic said that he's going to give him to the end of the year. He's not going to change anything with his shot this year. He's going to let him play the way he wants to play and kind of see what, you know, have an evaluation at the end of the year to see if that's something that they need to change. But right now, I don't know. I really just think they looking for too much for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to be a shooter. He's not going to be a jump shooter where he's going to score on the perimeter like that. He's going to be more of a
he's a Jason Kidd kind of player.
He's a he's a Kroger brand Jason Kidd. You know what I'm saying? He's a great value Jason Kidd. You know what I'm saying? You still gonna get the same kind of fulfilling out of the food, but it ain't gonna be that name brand. So it's. But,
I mean, I think he's gonna be straight. I think everybody needs to. He is just a rookie. He was a one and done at UCLA.
Yeah, give him some time, man.
And just got to give him some time. I mean, some of it does feel like smoke and mirrors that Lavar hyped him up. That's what, he did
that's a good sales job.
Yeah, that's what Lavar set up though for the criticism of him if he was to come in and kind of struggle and have some, some issues, but. Because of that microscope he put him under and being the the top draft pick and
under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, Magic signing off on him, man. You in Hollywood, man. There ain't nowhere to hide, so you gonna have to play because the Lakers don't really have much else. I mean, the kid Ingram is, it's his second year. He's starting to show some signs of life. Julius Randle, he is what he is. He's not gonna be a superstar in the NBA. Can be a good role player.
Yeah.
But other than that, they don't really have too many other pieces. I mean, the Lopez brothers there and Bogut, a couple experienced bigs, but they don't have very many pieces. I mean, that's why Magic not gonna really trip. This is just a test drive for him this year. Get his feet wet with the NBA.
Yeah.
Get them shots up. Take his criticism. It's good in year one.
Really live the NBA life. As far as the mental aspect of what it goes into making this a profession.
And it should make him tougher. This year, if you make it through this year, because I mean, people love to kick you when you're down. So that's what he's going. That's what he's going to go through this year is taking everybody's best shot. Because if you show weakness or vulnerable, they're going to come at you even harder. And then as well as the media, the way they're going to come at him. So on and off the court, he's going to get it. And if he makes it through this summer, and then Magic's able to go get some players this summer, and he turns it up in the off season now.
LeBron.
He's able to get film and see where he needs to work at. And he turns his off-season workout up, and it's more, they get him with a shot coach, all of that, because he's going to have to tweak that jump.
Yeah, he's going to have to.
Unless he just, miraculously, that it starts falling in.
Yeah, which I don't see that happening.
But he'll be straight. They just got to give him some time. He's a young dude, man. I mean, it's all-time top draft picks, struggle, especially at the guard position.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, yeah. It's a whole totally different level of ball.
Yeah, it's the most competitive position in the NBA.
Yeah, in the world.
I mean, you have the guards are... It's the best we've ever seen in the NBA right now, as far as skill level and what those guys can do to you.
Well, we're talking about just the evolution of basketball. Let's talk about starting out at the beginning of these student athletes and these athletes' careers. Over the weekend we had the chance to go to the Battle of the Ville, the Aspire Academy Wizards versus the Fern Creek Tigers at Old Mill High School, man. Great event, great turnout. Shout out to Sports Mix Live. They put on a great event. Shout out Megan and Tracy. They definitely did their thing. Shout out to both programs. They also had a middle school game there before Ramsey versus Newburgh. Man, what did you think of the overall event?
Man, it was a great event, great night of basketball for the city. They really came out the city and supported those kids and those young athletes. Fern Creek game, Aspire won 67-45. Game was closer than the final score. Fern Creek was within striking distance most of the game.
Competitive game.
Yeah, they were real competitive. They got after it. And really showed, what Louisville City ball is about. I mean, they turned it up a notch of intensity. Because I'm sure Aspire came out, they probably thought they was gonna walk all over those little dudes. It's probably in their mind, they didn't think they was gonna get the pushback that they got.
You kind of saw that attitude from them, these kids they're smaller, we're about to dominate, and that's not how it was.
Man. I mean, in Fern Creek, they were within striking distance the entire game, and they had and then Aspire, it was a run in the third quarter, where that little guard came in for Aspire. Let me check the
24.
Yeah,
I forget. Yeah,
number 10. No, the little guard.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now listening to that new Jack Harlow in the background, man. Shout out to him. Put out the new album this week. Gazebo signed with New Generation with DJ Drama, man. So shout out to Jack Harlow. Also, in the first segment, you heard PJ Gifted, his new album dropped. Free Dubs, man. So shout out to to those brothers. You know, some great music coming out of the city, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the homies, man. PJ Gifted, Jack Harlow doing his thing, man. Kentucky, they're gonna put Louisville, Kentucky on the map with this music, man.
Yes, sir.
Jumping back with the younger, with the prep ball, man. But Aspire had that nice run. I can't pronounce his first name. I'm not even gonna tear it up. But last name Glody, number 10. He came in the third quarter, little guard, athletic guard for Aspire,
He cooked.
And really turned it up, pushed the tempo and attacked. Had some few high flying plays, had a dunk. And that's really kind of what busted the game open. It went from around the 10 to 15 range, jumped up to the 20-point range on Fern Creek. But Fern Creek competed, man.
Yeah, they did.
Those guys went out there. Big shout out to the seniors, Clint Whitcliffe, Ahmad Price, Anthony Wells, and as well as what's my other boy's name? The other senior we got on the team. They all showed well. Tony Rogers, excuse me. But yeah.
Hey, that freshman, that guard that they have, he's gonna be special.
Yeah, the little Rogers brother.
Yeah, little Rogers. Yeah, he's gonna be special.
The little brother, senior Tony
Showed
Rogers.
a lot of fight.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
he handled the ball well and everything. So
against those big athletes,
yeah,
he went against the trees and.
I liked what I saw from that young guys, man. So even the other young dude, Jalen, I think is his name, Jaden. Jaden Rogers is the little brother you're talking about.
Yeah.
But they show fight, man. Fern Creek is gonna have a great season and should be able to, if they play that level of defense and get a little bit more offense, which I think the offense will come. They were bothered by the length of Aspire. I mean, Aspire, when you got 7 foot, 6'10", 6'8".
It's a hard feat.
Shout out number 24 for Aspire. He showed out
cold.
Friday night.
Joel.
He showed out, man, for Aspire, man. He's a 6'7" point guard. Really handles the ball well. Got a decent feel for the game. But he's just, when you got that type of height and length, it's tough to deal with at the point guard spot. He really kind of gave Fern Creek a lot of trouble as far as just his athletic ability. He had a nice oop he caught on an inbounds play where he set the man up. Had some other nice plays.
They ran that play like 3 times.
Yeah. They had some other nice plays attacking the rim, but they balled, man.
Would you think about this overall event and what it brings to the city of Louisville, and just as far as basketball is a special thing to the city of Louisville. So what do you think this did for the community and just to have this halo?
Man, it's bringing basketball back and putting that spotlight on prep basketball in the city, man.
Hey, shout out Cornell too.
Yeah, they brought Cornell, man. They had who was the DJ?
DJ Lil Carl.
Yeah, DJ Lil Carl was in the building, man, and everybody was out and came and supported, and it was a good event, man. And then had the middle school game before.
And it was a competitive game.
Coach
too.
Ellis Miles and Coach Philip Thomas coached the Newburgh team. Ellis Miles was Ramsey's head coach, man. They came and they played the first game at 6, and they put on a game. Newburgh won. But it was
good.
Going into the fourth quarter, that game
was
was a 3-4 point game.
The future is bright as far as for basketball in the city of Louisville, man. They had it was a couple, maybe about 3 or 4 kids that stood out in that game where I was like, they're gonna be special, man.
But I just think that's dope for the young guys getting to play in an atmosphere like that, and then after get to follow up, and then that game that follows it. You be kind of the opener and to see that and to see those top prospects afterward, where you have to look for. It just gives guys something to look forward to.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. So shout out to everybody that was involved with that event. Sports Mix Live. You had us 35KY Sports. You had KYSports.tv in the building. Just also, just putting on great events, man. Also, Fern Creek, they had a jamboree on Saturday where they had a lot of games. It was a lot of elementary and middle school games were featured, and then the older student athletes got a chance to play. Also, Aspire, they had a game against Tennessee Prep. They're now 5-0. So shout out to Aspire. They got some great things coming from Aspire. Also shout out Frankie Vision, man. Frankie Vision in the building at the game as well. So man, it was a great week, great weekend in sports. You had the Louisville game versus Syracuse. You had the Aspire versus Fern Creek game. Also, we didn't even jump into Louisville and Kentucky basketball programs playing. So
Louisville played Friday night.
Yeah, versus Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, it was a tight game.
They ended up winning by what? 8. I think.
I think 8 or 9.
I'm not locking in too much on basketball right now, just because we got to give David Padgett some time to figure it out.
Patient. You gotta be patient.
I'll tune in. I mean, they won Friday night over Omaha, 87-78. You got a good performance out of Dingadale and Ray Spalding. So, I mean, if you got Dingadale's, it's just 2 games, small sample size, but he's averaging 20. If you got Dingadale can give you 20 each night when you come out, you'll be all right. And then everybody else fill in and pick up the pieces.
Right.
VJ's figuring it out. Q's trying to get it together.
So
give him some time. I say for the Louisville fans, tune in about a week when they play Purdue. The week they play Purdue, and then they play Seton Hall that same week, about 3 or 4 days apart. That'll be the week to tune in and kind of gauge and see where we at. That'll be our first real competition and see how we handle it. We'll go from there at that point, and now we can start evaluating Padgett and Louisville.
Padgett some time. We got everything's new, so everything is new. All these in-game experiences that they're having for the players and for the coaches, man, being under this new regime. So give them some time. Also, the Cats have been playing. We also had we talked about it in recap with our guy from Rivals, Corey Evans. Make sure y'all go and check out that episode where we recap the UK Kansas game. They had a game on Friday as well, where they pulled it out. I believe it was versus East Tennessee.
Yes, sir. East Tennessee State Pirates.
HBCU.
Shout them out. But they won on Friday night, recovering from the loss to Kansas, which was to be expected. It was a 78-61 win by the Wildcats. They were led in scoring by Kevin Knox with 17 points.
Cooking, man.
So Kevin Knox early in the year is stepping up to show he's going to be the best player and wants those shots. So if they want the faster with those young guys, they figure out a pecking order, the better off they'll be.
Right.
So if everyone knows Kevin Knox is our horse and let's ride him, everybody need to get him his touches and play off of him. And let him lead the way in scoring, and and everybody else figured out how Amadou you do what you do, and let's get these guards up to speed. So both teams, don't jump off the deep end right now. That's why we're not doing too much breakdown and coverage on basketball right now.
Some time.
We're trying to honor the football season here at the end.
Close it on out tough.
Yeah, close out this football season, and we'll have plenty of time to talk basketball. That's our baby around here. So
I already know that.
Probably after Thanksgiving, after the football game, we'll really crank up our basketball coverage. We got some special stuff coming for you.
You
to kick
already
off
know
the
it.
coverage of basketball down the pipe. So be on the lookout for some of those interviews and events we'll be covering, man. We're going to give y'all the real on this basketball this season, from prep to high school to college to NBA. We're going to cover a lot of stuff.
We got what you need. Make sure that y'all following us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at 35KY Sports. Make sure that you are checking out our coverage on YouTube at 35KY Sports. Also, holler at us if you have any questions, any ideas, anything that you want us to cover out there as fans. Hit us up at 35kysports@gmail.com. Also, make sure that you are subscribing to the show on iTunes and SoundCloud. We got what you need, man. So, been another great episode. We'll catch y'all later this week. The Louisville UK game is going to be lit, so we're going to have some special coverage and special content for you there. So, like we say on every episode, we will catch y'all on the next run.
Peace.